All right. This is the last review before your test tomorrow, which is on Halloween. It is 15 questions. There will be a couple free response. There will be a couple multiple choice questions. Nothing too hard, but majority of it is free response. Each question is going to have 2 to 3 parts that you have to answer. So it's more than one answer for each question. Please make sure you're reading the directions carefully. There is vocabulary on here. However, the vocabulary is more like, okay, parallel lines have what kind of slope? They have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have what kind of slope? Opposite reciprocal. And if you're finding the distance of a point to a line, you're taking which angle?
The one with the right angle.
The one with the right angle, the one with the perpendicular segment. That's the kind of vocabulary that's going to be on there. So it's not really knowing a term to a vocabulary or a definition, but it's more of things that we know to be true in class, and we've said it multiple times, and I've said it and said it and said it, so it should be stuck in your head. For the distance questions on big ideas, it wanted you to change it to a decimal. For your test, you have to simplify it. Okay, we should know how to simplify our radicals by now, making it as simple as possible. If you don't know how, you got to factor it out. But there will be a couple questions on that, and you just have to know the rules. You have to know the formula, you have to know the slope formula, you have to know how to find an equation of parallel perpendicular lines. What happens if it's neither, or what should happen if they're both neither. And you also have to know how to graph, because you will have to graph on the test. For graphing, I would like to see 3 points when you're graphing, but 2 I could always check if it's 2, but you have to make sure that I could see them. So we're going to go over this review. I'm going to show you what is definitely going to be on there. If you are able to do all 3 of the reviews, you guys have had 3 reviews. If you're able to do all 3 of them without any issues, you are good for the test. Okay, obviously the questions they told you not to do, you don't need to worry about. But if you know how to do all 3 of the reviews without any help, and if you could check it with the work shown, okay, I have posted the answers, you'll be able to do great on the test tomorrow. So please, please, please make sure you are studying. 15. All right, let's go ahead and go over this. It says find the distance from point A to XZ. We don't have to round, I just need you to simplify the radical. So looking at this, which points should I take? Good, I'm going to take points Y and A because this is my perpendicular line. Okay, so looking at it, you're taking the shortest distance, and you're plugging it into your formula. Can anybody tell me the distance formula?
Root x1 minus x2.
Mm-hmm.
Y1 minus y2 squared.
Y1 minus y2 squared, good. All right, so looking at this, I'm going to take my points, I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to solve it. So x is first, doesn't matter the order, I'm going to do 3 minus 0 squared plus 1 minus 0 squared. I'm going to get 3 squared plus 1 squared. Please, what is 1 squared? 1, thank you. Do not put 2. I'm going to get 9 plus 1. And can I simplify the square root of 10? Yes? No, I cannot. It's it's as simple as it can get. I cannot simplify this, so this would be my answer. All right, looking at the next question, similar question. Always remember, you are not specifically taking the points in the center, the line in the center. You are taking the line that has the 90-degree angle, the one that is perpendicular. So looking at this question, which points should I be taking? Z and A. So right here, it's showing me it's perpendicular with that right angle. So I'm plugging it into my formula. X is first. So 4 minus 3 squared plus 3 minus negative 1. I'm going to change this to a plus sign. And what's 4 minus 3? I'm going to get 1 squared plus, what's 3 plus 1? 4 squared. 1 squared we said was 1. And what's 4 squared?
16.
16. I'm going to get 16 plus 1. 17. Can I simplify the square root of 17? No, but on your test, if you can, you have to simplify or else you will not get full credit. Okay, yes?
How do you turn it into a decimal?
So decimals, I won't have you turn it into a decimal, but you have to find the closest perfect square for this. So 4 times 4 is what? 16. 16 is close to 17, so I know it's going to be maybe about 4.1. Okay, 4.01. I know it's going to be around there because 16 is close to 17. So if you were doing this and you plugged it into a calculator on Big Ideas, it should have been 4 point something because it's asking you to round to the nearest tenth. It was 4.1?
Yeah.
So it should have been 4.1. So that's how you're finding the decimal. You're finding the closest perfect square, and then you're working your way from there using the decimals after that. If you want to check it, for example, I know in your quiz there was a multiple choice one. You should have taken the decimal and multiplied it by itself. So you should have squared it and try and get the closest possible answer to the number inside your radical. So that's how you would turn it into a decimal. But on the test, you won't have to do that. You're just going to simplify it as simple as possible. All right, looking at the next question. All right, looking at it, it says determine which lines must be parallel. Select all that apply if there are any lines. So looking at this one, are there any lines that are parallel? Which ones? Are there any lines on here that I could determine that are parallel? No, there are none. Okay, remember, for it to be parallel, it has to share the same transversal. It has to show me that they're both perpendicular. So it's only showing me one perpendicular symbol. I can just prove that V and Y are perpendicular, but I can't prove anything else is parallel. So looking at the reasons, what should my reason be?
You need to know something about both intersections.
Good. You need to know something about both of the intersections of the transversal and the two lines. That's the only option. All right, looking at the next question. Same thing. Who could tell me which two lines here are parallel? Which two lines here are parallel? B and C. Is there any more that are parallel? No, it has to be B and C. And what would my reason be?
Lines are parallel by the line perpendicular to a transversal.
Good. Lines perpendicular to a transversal theorem. We have covered this so many times, so we should know that answer already. Any questions on these two? All right, looking at the next one. Which lines are parallel, if any? What was it? M and N is correct. And what's my reasoning behind it? Good. Lines perpendicular to a transversal theorem. So it should be this one. I think your Big Ideas has your answers mixed up. So just make sure you're following along to which one's correct. All right. This looks familiar. Where have we seen this?
Everywhere.
Everywhere? This was on your last quiz. Okay, this was on your last quiz, so this should have hopefully been easy. The measure of angle 1, who could tell me what that is? Good, this is 90 degrees. What about 2? 60. 3? 30. 4. And the last one? 90, good. All right, now let's go ahead and justify our answers. I put the graph here so it'll help us. I'm going to color code them.
For this one, do we have to write it down?
This one was, no, it was just drag and drop. This one you didn't have to write down. You didn't have to show work for this one because this one should have hopefully been easy. So measure of angle 1, what's my reason? How is the measure of angle 190? Good, it's marked as a right angle. Looking at the next one. Measure of angle 2. How do I know? Good. Complementary means what? Complementary means what? Good. It's 90 degrees. Looking at the next one, the measure of angle 3.
It's a vertical angle.
It's vertical to 30 degrees, or sorry, 30 degrees. That's my angle. Number 4.
It forms a right angle with a 30-degree angle.
And a 40-degree angle, good. And the last one, 5.
Angle with right.
Good, it should be the last one. A vertical angle with the right angle. 1 and 5 are vertical angles. Questions on this? Okay. All right, looking at number 7, it says find the value of x when AB is perpendicular and BC are parallel. How would I solve this one?
You equal them to each other.
Good, they're going to be equal to each other. So solving it, I'm going to set it up, but while I'm setting it up, I'm going to distribute this so I don't have to do it later on. So I'm going to have 9x plus 18 equals 5x plus 35 plus 15. What should I do next?
Add 35 and 15.
Good, I'm going to combine my like terms, which is right here. I'm going to have 9x plus 18 equals 5x plus 50. Now what should I do?
Subtract 5x.
Your Saki's on one side.
Sorry?
Saki.
Yeah, I'm going to zoom in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5x to both sides. If I subtracted, what would I get?
4x, 18.
Good. 4x plus 18 equals 50. What should I do next?
Subtract 18.
Subtract 18 to both sides. I'm going to get 4x equals 32. And last, divide by 4, and x is going to equal.
80.
Perfect. X for my answer, 8. All right, looking at number 8, you will see questions like this on the test. So please make sure you know how to solve this. For this question, you have to use the formula for slope. So if you don't know the slope formula, you have to make sure you know the slope formula for the test. Can anybody tell me what the slope formula is?
Y2 thing.
Mm-hmm.
Minus Y1.
Over.
X2 minus X1.
Perfect. So I'm going to take the points from line 1 and line 2, and I'm going to name the slope. And then I need to determine if it's parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first one. Line 1, I'm going to take the points. 4 minus 0 over 7 minus 1. I'm going to get 4 over 6. And can I simplify it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what am I going to simplify to?
2 over 3.
Good. You have to make sure you simplify it. So this is going to be 2 over 3. And then line 2, I'm doing the same thing. Taking my y2 minus my y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to get 6 over negative 4. Can I simplify this? Yes, what am I going to simplify it to? Negative 3 over 2. Looking at these two slopes and knowing the rule for parallel and perpendicular, what kind of lines are these?
Perpendicular.
Good, perpendicular. If it's parallel, what does the slopes have to have? And if it's neither?
Yeah. This different.
They're both different. Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's zoom out a little. All right, looking at number 9. It says tell whether the lines through the given points are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So we're still doing the same thing. So I'm going to use my formula. I'm going to do line 1. I'm going to have 9 minus 5 over negative 8 minus 10. I'm going to get 4 over negative 18. I could simplify this using 2. What am I going to simplify it to? It's going to be negative 2 over 9. And then looking at the next one, I have line 2. I'm going to have negative 6 minus negative 4 over 11 minus 2. I'm going to change this to a plus symbol. And I'm going to get negative 2 over 9. And what kind of lines are these? Parallel, same slope. Questions on these ones? All right, going to number 10. It says write an equation of the line that passes through points P, 4, 0, that is parallel to this line. You will find questions like this on your test, so please make sure you study this. First thing I have to do is what? First thing I have to do is what? I can't just plug in yet. Good. So I need to take this equation right here and I need to change it to slope-intercept form. Okay, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So I need to solve everything for y. So first thing that we have to do is add x to both sides to cancel these out. I'm going to get 2y equals, I'm going to put my x first because I want it the same format. X is going to go first. And then last, divide everything by 2. I'm going to get y equals 1 over 2x plus 6. Now I can go ahead and use that equation and find the parallel equation. So when it's parallel, what does it have? What do I know already? Good, it's going to have the same slope. So I already know part of my answer is going to be y equals 1/2 x. I'm going to take the points they gave me and plug it in. So I'm solving it as 4 equals 1/2. I'm sorry, this shouldn't be a 4, this should be a 0 because this is my y. Should be 0 equals 1/2 times 4 plus b because I'm solving for my b. So who could tell me what's half of 4? 2. I'm going to get 0 equals 2 plus b. And how do I solve for b by itself? Good. I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides of my equal sign. I'm going to get negative 2 equals b, and I'm going to plug it in right here. So now I have both equations. I have the one I solved and the one they gave me. I'm going to go ahead and graph both of them. So I'll go back and zoom in so you guys can see it. I'm just going to go ahead and graph it on my graph, my coordinate plane. So I'm going to do them in one in green and then one in purple. So I'm going to do the one in green first. I know it's super small to see on the screen. I will zoom in, I promise. I'm going to put a dot first on negative 2. Again, you have to know how to graph because you will have to graph on the test. I'm going to put a dot at negative 2 because that's my y-intercept. Now I have to find my slope, which was 1/2. I'm going to go up 1 to the right 2, 1, 2. And I did my 2 points. I recommend you do 3 points. So when you're graphing it, it's straight. But if you only put 2, that's fine. I'm going to go up 1 and over 2. I just want to make sure my graph is completely straight. When you're graphing, please make sure you're putting your arrows because this is a continuation of a line. It is continuing forever and ever and ever. I just don't want to continue drawing it. So that's my green one. That's the one that I solved for. Now I'm going to do the one they gave me. I'm going to put a dot on 6 because my y-intercept is positive 6. Then I'm going to go up and over 2. Up and over 2. Again, I said I like to do 3 dots. And drawing a line through it with my arrows. So this is what it should look like. Please make sure you know how to solve for y. Because there will be something like this on the test where you will have to solve for y. So this is just algebra skills, solving for a variable, moving everything to one side and leaving your y alone. So That will be on the test, so please make sure you know how to solve it. All right. And the last question, you won't have to solve for distance on the test because it's a really long process. So I will just scratch out this question for now. Don't worry about it. But eventually we'll see this pop up again. But this question, don't worry about it for now because you already have a lot of information to study. So just scratch it out. All right, any questions for your test tomorrow? Does anybody have any questions?
How long are you gonna be at the school day?
Hmm?
How long are you guys gonna be at the school day?
Normal time. Yeah.
That question will appeal the test, right?
No. Yeah.
So it's on 3-1, 3-2.
It's mainly on 3-4 and 3-5, but I think I did take one question from your previous quiz. It was a multiple choice question. If I want to say, I think it's about 4 multiple choice questions. Everything else is free response. 3 or 4, I'm not sure, I don't remember. Any questions? Please study all 3 reviews. Like I said, if you can do all 3 reviews, no problem. Then you should be good on the test tomorrow. All right, test is tomorrow. Please make sure you're here and you're studying because it's your first test of the quarter.